Welcome to the Sent from Disneyland podcast.
Here age relives fond memories of the past.
If it's your first time joining us, welcome. On this episode, we'll take a journey into the past and explore Disneyland and Disneyland history with mementos, snapshots, and postcards sent from Disneyland from 1955 to the present. Today, I'm starting off by thanking my patrons from patreon.com. You can join and receive mail from my desk or from my Disneyland trips. Special thanks to Random Olive, the first patron to this podcast, and to the e-ticket patrons Tania, Eric Daniels, Joe Gamble, Scott Booker, Monica Seitz Vega, Russ Romano, Michael and Christina Cross, Scott Cagle, and Sheila Harry. C-ticket patrons Serious Inquiries Only, Debbie Weinstein, Jennifer Schneep, Grace Coate, Ben and Noel Bruning, Patty Wolin, Angela Reynolds, and Aaron Moran. B-ticket patrons The Disney Rewind Podcast, Jeff and Paige Orton, and Joshua, and Exorable Tosh Bell. And the A-ticket patrons, Elise Sharp, Zealot Infinity, Alexis Robles, Maggie and Henry Byers, Angel DeBlois, and the All Aboard podcast. You can also sign up for my new newsletter for a chance to get some postcards delivered by the USPS to your mailbox. I am your host, your post-host Clocky, and today we have 2 postcards sent from Disneyland. The front of our first postcard has 4 images of Disneyland. On the top left, an image of Sleeping Beauty Castle. On the top right, an image of the Mark Twain riverboat. On the bottom left, an image of the Jungle Cruise loading area. And on the bottom right, an image of Main Street, USA, with a band playing at Town Square. On the back it reads, 1. Sleeping Beauty's Castle. 2. Mark Twain. 3. Scene of Jungle River. 4. Scene of Town Square. Disneyland, Walt Disney's fabulous Magic Kingdom, a place for the young in heart of all ages to find happiness and knowledge. It's postmarked April 26, 1959, with the Los Angeles Build Your Future Wisely, Safely, U.S. Savings Bonds Cancel, and a 3-cent purple Liberty postage stamp, Scott number 1035. I assume they visit the park on Saturday, April 25, 1959, when park hours were from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. The weather was a high of 71 and a low of 42, with a trace amount of precipitation. Park attendance that day was 17,337. It's addressed to Barbara Sims of Fanwood, New Jersey. It reads, Dear Barbara, if you ever come to California, be sure to visit Disneyland, and also visit me if you can. I am 10 years old, and I like to raise cats and collect stamps. Marjorie. This first postcard is likely the start of a pen pal friendship. It's fun to have postcards like this. I wonder if Barbara ever made it out from New Jersey to Disneyland. Also, April 25th was Dairy Day at the park, but I couldn't find any specific information about that event. This week, I thought it would be interesting to look at some of the details about Disneyland streets. There are official names for streets and thoroughfares within each land. Starting with Main Street, there are 2 streets which segment it into 2 blocks. Walking from Town Square towards the Market House and the Carnation Cafe, Center Street divides the 2 blocks. Center Street West, as seen on Google Maps, or West Center Street, as it is usually described, is currently the outdoor seating for the Carnation Cafe, but it was home to the Main Street Flower Market. East Center Street, now the walkway to the Main Street Lockers, a seating area and a fruit cart, was a small entertainment area in the early years of the park, and a spot where guests could sit and have portraits made, similar to what is currently offered in New Orleans Square. The next street, ending the second block of Main Street, is Plaza Street. This street signifies the end of Main Street and the start of the Hub. The Hub was built to be the center of the park, attaching Main Street, Tomorrowland, Fantasyland, Frontierland, and Adventureland. This changed over the years, especially when New Orleans Square was added, and eventually the lands had additional routes which connected them together. Heading into Tomorrowland, the roadway guests travel along in Autopia is known as Route 55. Although the Autopia has gone through many changes over the years, even having 2 Autopias, one in Fantasyland and one in Tomorrowland, when the most recent version was completed in 2000, it was given the route number 55 to reference that the attraction opened with Disneyland in 1955. Adding the Matterhorn in 1959 created the first 2-lane connection outside of the Hub. I can't find conclusive evidence, but the walkways around Matterhorn have been labeled as Matterhorn Way. Since the Matterhorn is the only descriptor, it's hard to pinpoint whether it's the area between Alice and the Matterhorn or the walkway from the Matterhorn's entrance to Tomorrowland. Great news, Enfield Post is back up on Etsy. Grabbing some vintage stamps is a great way to plus your mail, whether you're trying to match the color of your postcard or envelope or adding a themed stamp to the back of your mail. Be sure to check out Enfield Post. You can head over to EnfieldPost.com and explore all the different vintage stamps you can use on your next card or letter. That's ENFIELDPOST on Instagram and EnfieldPost.com for your wedding and vintage postage needs. Enfield Post is the official postage stamp sponsor of the Sent from Disneyland podcast. The front of our next postcard has the Upjohn Pharmacy on Main Street, USA at night. On the back it reads, The Upjohn Company's old-fashioned drugstore in Disneyland. Over 1,000 pharmaceutical antiques, including giant mortar above the entrance, are displayed in this Victorian establishment. It's postmarked August 13th, 1962, with an Arroyo Grande cancel and a 3-cent purple Liberty postage stamp, Scott number 1035. I assume they visited the park on Sunday, August 12th, 1962, when park hours were from 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. The weather was a high of 84 and a low of 59. Park attendance that day was 29,760. It's addressed to the Callahans of Oakland, California. It reads, 8/13/62. Just pulled off the main stem to mail this card, Arroyo, D and C. One road I feel most regular park goers are familiar with is Big Thunder Trail, the pathway which was added in 1979 when Big Thunder Mountain opened. The trail follows the side of the mountain and originally led to Big Thunder Ranch and Big Thunder Barbecue and connected Frontierland to Fantasyland. Big Thunder Trail is still in the park and connects Frontierland to Fantasyland, but also connects Star Wars Galaxy's Edge to Frontierland in 2 different locations. In New Orleans Square, there are more official streets with actual street signs. Royal Street starts at the Royal Street Veranda and goes through most of New Orleans Square. Next is Orleans Street, which is the center street and is in between the perfume store and the crystal store. The third street in New Orleans Square is Front Street, which is fitting as it is the street that leads guests from New Orleans Square to the Disneyland Railroad. Most of the Rivers of America is surrounded by Esplanade Road, which starts where New Orleans Square, Frontierland, and Adventureland meet, and follows the river to the Haunted Mansion and Fowler's Harbor. From Fowler's Harbor, you can take a small pathway known as Millview Lane. It takes guests from Fowler's Harbor over to near where the Fruit Cart and the Davy Crockett Explorer canoe attraction currently reside. It's also a great way to see guests after they've taken the large plunge near the end of Tiana's Bayou adventure. It was interesting to pull up Google Maps and see other streets which I had not heard of before. It shows Tomorrowland Way as a named walkway from the Astro Orbiters to the Pizza Planet restaurant. It also shows Critter Country Lane, starting at the end of Esplanade Road, wrapping around the Pooh Corner shop, and even going backstage about 100 feet. There's another backstage road named SF and DL Road, sandwiched behind the Fantasyland Theater and the Casey Jr. attraction. This road is also near Toontown Drive, which starts at the Small World Toy Shop and ends at Neighborhood Lane, where you can find the houses of Mickey, Minnie, Goofy, and Donald. This incoming postcard is sponsored by the Art Throwdown. Art Throwdown, or ATD, is an online craft hour on Instagram, starting at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 Pacific. Be sure to check out Monday's ATD, which is usually hosted by paper artist Russ Romano. I see many amazing art projects, learned about awesome postmarks, postage stamp history, and a lot more on different episodes. It's great to stop in for an hour to watch someone craft or design something unique. Each host brings something a little different to each show. I'll list some of the regular hosts, or you can follow Russ Romano 2021 on Instagram. The front of my incoming postcard has Cruella de Vil with a green background, and a speech bubble which reads, "Have you seen Kristen's new puppy, Audrey? She's super cute." On the back it reads, "The maniacal, black and silver-haired Cruella de Vil lives for fur, which is why she lusts after puppies. 101 Dalmatians." It's postmarked May 26, 2023, with a Carroll Stream, Illinois Protect Endangered Species cancel, and a Cruella de Vil Disney Villains Forever postage stamp, Scott number 5219. It reads, 5/24/2023. Hi Clocky, thanks for the Nurse's Day postcard. We did get a new puppy. Her name is Audrey, and she's 4 months old. She's super sweet. Kristen. Thank you so much for the postcard, Kristen, and congratulations on your new addition. I love these postcards. I wish the Postal Service would do more themed postcards for their different stamp releases. On the back of this postcard, they even have Horace and Jasper, Cruella's henchmen, just above the Disney Villains logo. I also think the juxtaposition of Cruella and the Endangered Species Council is hilarious. Thanks for listening to Sent from Disneyland. If you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe and tell your friends. It would be awesome to share your favorite episode. There are over 100 episodes to choose from. It would also help to leave a 5-star rating and comment at whatever podcast platform you use. If you'd like to support the show financially, please check out our Patreon page at patreon.com/sentfromdisneyland. You can find me on Instagram and Facebook at Sent from Disneyland, or on Twitter at Sent from Disney. For questions and comments, send me a postcard addressed to Sent from Disneyland, P.O. Box 44, Hood, California, 95639. This podcast is not affiliated with Disney, the United States Postal Service, or any post office or Disney properties. Opinions expressed on this podcast belong to its host and guests of the Sent from Disneyland podcast.